Hello, this is Mr. Stansbury. I'm going to take you through the 10G assignment. All right, so we'll start with number 1 here. Find the length of the remaining side in the given triangle. So you've got the two sides, and the angle in between means you want to use the law of cosine. So this top one here, remember, is if you're looking for a side, and this one is if you're looking for an angle. So we're looking for a side, so we're going to call this, it is actually A. So we're looking for side A across from angle A. Okay. So to do this, we have A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. So for this one here, we're going to do A squared, which is this side across from the angle that they give you, equals B squared, which is 21, plus C squared, which is 15, minus 2 times B, which is 21, times C, which is 15, all times the cosine of the angle in between those two sides, which is 105. Okay, and then on this one here, all we're going to do really is just, excuse me, just enter this into the calculator, and away we go. Okay, so, and you should be able to enter in this in all in one big shot and hit equals, and that'll give you what A squared is. So let's try that. So 21 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 21 times 15 cosine of 105. And that gives us 829.05. So we get that A squared equals 829.05 ... right? So we'll want to square root both sides to figure out what plain old A is. And instead of clearing that out, let's just do this. Let's just take the square root of our answer, and we get 28.79, and it doesn't say where to round it to, so I'm just going to go to the nearest tenth. So I'll go 28.8. So 28.8 centimeters is what side A is going to be. All right. Okay, moving on to B. We've got these two sides and the included angle. So what I would really suggest doing, at least at the beginning, so that you get everything all squared away, just ignore whatever letters they have, and then we're going to assign it the letters that we want. So this angle here is always going to be, since our formula has cosine of angle A, so let's make this capital A, so across from that is little a. Okay, and then these other two, B and C, really won't matter too much. So we'll do B and little b, capital C and little c. Okay, and then we can use, then you don't have to worry too much about what goes where. Okay, so for B here, we've got A squared equals B squared, which is 6.3, plus C squared, which is 4.8, minus 2 times B, which is 6.3, times C, which is 4.8, all times the cosine of the angle A, which is 32 degrees. Okay, so then we're just going to plug this into our calculator. Okay, so I just put that all into our calculator here, and we get 11.44. That's a little curious. That looks wrong. 6.3 squared plus 4.8 squared minus 2 times 6.3 times 4.8 cosine 32. I guess we're okay. All right. Okay, so we get A squared equals 11.44. So then we square root both sides, and we get that A is going to equal second square root of our answer, 3.38. 3.38 meters. Okay. Yeah, all right, let's move on to C then. So again, I'm going to get rid of these letters here and assign them the ones that we want. So we want the angle to be A, so across from that's little a. And then let's call this B, so that's little b, this capital C, and that's little c. Okay, so then we just do a squared equals b squared, which is 14.8, plus c squared, which is 6.2, minus 2 times a, which is times b, which is 14.8, times c, which is 6.2, all times the cosine of angle A, which is 72. Okay, so then we'll just put that into our handy dandy calculator. Okay, so here it all is. Push equals 200.77, we'll call it. A squared equals 200.77. And then we square root both of those. And we get that A is square root of our answer 14.169. So let's go, let's see, this was to the nearest tenth, so let's go out one farther out. So we'll go 14.17. 14.17, and this is meters. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next example. Number 2, find the measure of all angles of this here. So, again, with our 2 cosine formulas, we now need to figure out the angle, so let's do this. Let's use the cosine of A. So, and let's see, if we do cosine of A, that's going to help us figure out what this angle is here, and that'll help us figure out the other angles. So let's do this. Cosine A equals B squared, which is 12, plus C squared, which is 13, minus A squared, which is 11, all over 2 times B, which is 12, times C, which is 13. Okay, so we can again do that on our calculator. Excuse me, I would suggest doing the top first and then the bottom and then dividing the 2. You can do it all together as at once, but you're going to need to use parentheses. So seems like the easiest way to not make a mistake is just do the top first and then the bottom. So 12 squared plus 13 squared minus 11 squared. Oops. Minus 11 squared gives us 192. So we have cosine A equals 192 over, and then we'll do the bottom, which is 2 times 12 times 13, which is over 312. So since we're looking for an angle, now we would just do second cosine of, and then we do 192 divided by 312. All right, and that gives us 52.02, so we'll call A equals 52.0 degrees. So that's 52.0, right? Now that you have this one here, you can we can still use the cosine formula to find one of the other 2 angles, which is going to be our most accurate way of finding the other angles, because then we're going to have all numbers that have not been rounded off. So another way you could do it is there's other ways to do it. Let's just do it this way. I don't want to try to confuse you. So now let's say we're looking for B. So again, I'm just going to relabel these. In fact, I'm just going to switch the A and the B here, and then we'll fill out our formula with that. So we would then do cosine of our new A, right, equals B squared, which is now 11, plus C squared, which is 13, minus A squared, which is now 12, all over 2 times B, which is 11, and then times C, which is 13. Okay. Now, if you look at it, it's just like the angle that you're looking for. It's going to be the 2. You're going to square the 2 sides that make up the angle. So 11 squared plus 13 squared. And you just subtract the side squared across from the angle that you're looking for, and then you're going to divide by 2 times those 2 sides that make up that angle. So that's why it's 11 times 13. Okay. Anyway, let's see. Let's calculate this one out. And we get 11 squared plus 13 squared minus 12 squared. And that gives us 146. So we got cosine A is 146 over, and then 2 times 11 times 13 gives us 286. All right. So now we are going to look for the angle here. So we're going to do second cosine of 146 divided by 286, and we get 59.303. So let's do 59.3. So that's 59.3 degrees. And then to find the last one, really the easiest way to do that, and probably the most accurate, is going to be to do 180 minus these other two angles, right? 52.0 and 59.3. Okay, so we're going to subtract, well, we're basically going to add those two together and subtract it from 180 to figure out what the other angle is, right? So let's do 180 minus, let's just subtract the two. So 52.0 minus 59.3 leaves us with 68.7. Okay, so that means angle 358.7 degrees. We've now found all the angles. All right? Okay. Moving on to the next one, number 3. Find the measure of obtuse angle PQR. So we're looking for this one. We're looking for this one here, right? So if we're looking for an angle, let's use cosine A. So I'm going to turn that into A. Let's call that B, or you could call it C. It doesn't matter. And this one we'll call C. So let's see. Across from A is little a. Across from B is little b. Across from C is little c. Okay, so cosine of A equals B squared, which is 5, plus C squared, which is 7, minus A squared, which is 10, all divided by 2 times B, which is 5, times C, which is 7. Okay, so plug that into our calculator, and we got 5 squared minus 7 squared, oh sorry, not minus but plus, minus 10 squared, and that gives us negative 26, which is weird, but don't worry, it'll work out. And then we got 2 times 5 times 7, which is going to give us 70. Alright, so now we'll go back into our calculator. We are looking for an angle, so we'll do second cosine of negative 26. Make sure you push the negative and not subtract. It'll give you an error if you do the subtract. So negative 26 divided by 70 gives us 111.8 degrees for that thing. And that's an obtuse angle. And then that's kind of the, not necessarily the trick, but that's kind of the signal that you're going to have something that's greater than 90 degrees, is if this number here is negative, this angle here will be more than 90 degrees. If it's positive, it'll be less than 90 degrees. All right? Okay. Moving along to the next one. Number 4, find the smallest angle of a triangle with sides 11, 13, and 17 centimeters. So let's just draw this thing, just sketch it out. So we got 11, and then this one's longer at 13, and this one's longer still at 17. So find the smallest angle. The smallest angle will always be across from the smallest side. So this here is going to be the angle that we're looking for, because it's across from the smallest side. So if we're looking for an angle, we want angle, let's call that angle A. So this is little a. Let's just call this B, and we'll call that C. Okay, so then we would do cosine of A equals B squared, which is 17, plus C squared, which is 13, minus a squared, which is 11, all over 2 times b, which is 17, times c, which is 13. Okay, so let's do 17 squared plus 13 squared minus 11 squared. Gives us 337. And then on the bottom we'll do 2 times 17 times 13. Okay, and that gives us 442. So we'll figure that out there, and we are finding an angle, so we'll do second cosine of 337 divided by 442. Gives us 40.31, so we'll call that 40.3. So A equals 40.3 degrees. Okay, so that's the smallest angle. Okay, on B, we've got find the largest angle of a triangle that has sides 4, 7, and 9. So we'll call that 4, that's 7, and that's 9. The largest angle, just like the smallest angle is across from the smallest side, the largest angle is going to be across from the largest side. So that's going to be the angle we're looking for. So we'll call that A. Let's just call that B, and we'll call that C. All right, so then we've got cosine of A equals 4 squared plus 7 squared minus 9 squared, all over 2 times 4 times 7. Okay, so let's do that. We've got 4 squared plus 7 squared minus 9 squared gives us negative 16. So again, now we know we're going to have a negative number here, so we know that this angle is going to have to be more than 90 degrees because it's going to be a negative. Okay, and then we do 2 times 4 times 7 is 56. All right, so we're finding that angle, so we'll do second cosine of negative 16 divided by 56. And that gives us 106.6. Okay, so that would then be this. That would be this largest angle here. Okay. All right. Last one. Find the area of quadrilateral ABCD. So we're finding the area of this whole thing here. So they were actually kind of nice here. They drew a little dotted line through this to help us figure out that we need to figure out the area of this triangle and then maybe figure out the area of this triangle here. Okay, so area of this triangle here isn't going to be too bad. That's going to be 1/2 of the 2 sides times sine of the angle that's in between that. So for this angle, for triangle, so the area of triangle ABD, oops, not equals, but just area of triangle ABD is going to equal 1/2 of the 2 sides multiplied together, 11 times 7 times the sine of 110. Okay, so let's calculate that out. So we got 0.5 times 11 times 7 sine of 110 gives us 36.17, so we'll call that 36.2 square centimeters. So area of triangle ABD equals 36.2 square centimeters. Okay, so that one's taken care of. Now we got to figure out this one here. So that's going to be area of triangle DBC. Okay, so DBC, the problem is we have the angle and we have this side, but we don't have this side here. So the first thing we're going to have to do is figure out what this side here is. Okay, so that's where we can go back and use our cosines, right? So what we're going to want to do here to find DB, which is across from angle A, actually, if you see. So we know that DB, side DB squared, because that's our A, is going to equal 11 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 11 times 7 times the cosine of that angle, which is 110. Oops, don't need that on there. Okay, so now we'll figure out what that is. So 11 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 11 times 7 cosine 110. Sorry, it kind of takes a while to enter that all in. Gives us 222.67. So that side DB squared equals 222 point blah 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 blah. Right? And so then what we're going to need to do now is take the square root of both sides. So we'll do second square root of our answer, and that gives us 14.92. Okay, so 14.9 we'll call it, because we took the square root of both of these sides here. So DB, side DB is 14.9. So this 14.9. Now we have enough information to plug that into the area formula, because now we have the two sides and the included angle. Okay, so area of DBC is going to equal 1/2 of 14.9 times 16 times sine of 40. All right, so let's put that one in, see what we get, add them together, and we're good to go. 0.5 times 14.9 times 16 sine of 40 gives us 76.6. So area of triangle DBC, 76.6 square centimeters. So this is 76.6 centimeters squared. So to figure out the area of the whole thing, we'll just do 36.2 plus 76.6, and we're in shape. 0.8, that's 2, carry the 1, 112.8 square centimeters for that whole thing is what we should get. All right, so that's it for the 10G assignment. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask in class. Thanks.